Today, I'm going to be showing you guys the best army for Town Hall 16s and Town Hall 15s. I'm talking about this army right here, and as a Town Hall 17, I was able to use this army in Legends and only failed 3 times the entire Legends season. I've had a ton of people ask if they can use this army at Town Hall 15 and 16, and the answer is definitely yes. This army is just as broken at the Town Hall 16 and 15 levels as it is at the highest level of the game. So I'm going to run you guys through the army comps for both Town Hall levels. Feel free to use the timestamps to skip to the part of the video that most applies to you. I'm going to talk about some substitute equipment as well as the tweaks that I have made to make sure this army does work on your Town Hall level. Then we're going to jump into some FCs to show you guys that this army really is as good as I say it is. But let's get right into the Town Hall 16 army. So here is the army adapted for Town Hall 16. Of course, you do not have access to the Sneezy, so we cannot use that on the Queen. And as well, you do not have the extra 20 housing space. So I simply removed 3 super barbs and 1 balloon from the army. But let's briefly talk about the equipment and some of these substitutes that you can use if you do not have some of the equipment. So starting off with the Barbarian King, if you do not have the Snake Bracelet, you can definitely get away with using the Earthquake Boots. They are basically just as good, but will not provide your king with as much tanking, as he is more of a support hero in this army, as opposed to being the giant tank in the core of the base as he normally would be. Moving on to the Archer Queen, we of course have the Giant and the Magic Mirror being the 2 best hero equipments in the game right now. However, of course, if you do not have some of these equipments, you can mix and match quite well. Of course, if you do not have the Giant, you can use the Healer Puppet. Let's say you do have the Giant and not the Magic Mirror, well, you could use the Giant Arrow with the Giant. And if you do not have either of the epics, you could use the Giant Arrow and the Healer Puppet, and it will work just fine. Next hero then is of course the Warden. You are going to need the Rage Gem and the Healing Tome. Those are pretty compulsory. Finally, of course, we have the Royal Champion with the Spirit Fox, which we are going to use for the Spirit Walk. You are going to need the E-Boots. However, you do not need the Rocket Spear. It is the best option here. However, you could also get away with using the Haste Vial and the Hog Puppet as a last resort if you do not have the Haste Vial. So that is the army right here on your screen. You can find the link for it in the description of the video. Let's get right into an FC and show you guys how this army is used against Town Hall 16 bases. Let's go. Alright, so we are in. Do note this is on hard mode and I have fully nerfed myself. I'm using the bad substitute equipment. So I'm looking for the Town Hall at the start of an attack. The Town Hall is the #1 priority when you're attacking these Town Hall 16 bases. And that is because the Town Hall poison can be so deadly. We are effectively just working around the Town Hall. So as you can see, I have located the Town Hall. I located the other side of the base, and that is where I want to enter with my Root Riders so that I hopefully end on the Town Hall. I hope that makes sense. As you can see, I'm using the Haste Vial for this one, not the Rocket Spear, although it is definitely the better option for this attack. So as you can see, I'm doing well with the Spirit Walk at the moment. I'm sending in some cleanup. And I've made and took out a giant chunk of the base with the Haste Vial. Of course, that does mean we don't quite have a plan B for my RC if she does go crazy later into the attack. So do note that if you are going to be using the Haste Vial and not the Rocket Spear. Also, if you are attacking Town Hall 17 bases with this army as a Town Hall 16, just simply refer to my previous videos on this army because they will be applicable no matter what Town Hall level you're on. But as you can see, I'm using the Overgrowth spell to control the pathing, making sure that they run around. The Root Riders need to stay nice and compact because we need those healers to do that raged up healing, and that will really help us out. They need to be able to splash on all of the Root Riders, so if you get a big split with the Root Riders, you're going to be in trouble. As I said, there is no plan B for the RC, so you do need to be careful, keeping your eye on her at all times because there is a chance that she can go down during this attack. Now, of course, as a Town Hall 17, this one is getting absolutely smashed right now. But do note that the Town Hall, as I said, is really the only thing that can stop this attack. My advice is simply just to use the Overgrowth spells so that you finish on the Town Hall at the end of the attack instead of trying to tackle it at the start of the attack. You can definitely try and Spirit Walk it. I would definitely recommend doing that as well. However, in some cases, that will not be possible. Anyways, as you can see, I used the Headhunters to take down the King. And this is the first base taken down with this army. All the heroes are alive. Of course, the King is slightly lower on health than it would normally be because I have used the Earthquake Boots, not the Snake Bracelet, which is slightly better in order to nerf myself. But That is the first base that I'm going to show you guys. Let's get into the second and final attack. So the next base then is definitely not as strong. Unfortunately, Aaron, who was helping out with this video, did only have 2 bases available. It is still a maxed out Town Hall 16 base. Anyways, I am going with the same exact approach where I'm trying to enter into the exact opposite side of the Town Hall into the Eagle Artillery again in this case. I hope this is very clear that I am simply avoiding the Town Hall until the end of the attack because the poison is definitely the #1 threat for this army. Do note that the poison bases are actually easier for this attack rather than rage bases. So say you're in war or in Clan War League, you may want to claim the poison bases as opposed to the rage bases because it's slightly easier against the poison bases. Not to say that it isn't good with other styles of bases, but definitely poison is the easiest. Anyways, as you can see, I recall here and I have a nice path set up into this Eagle Artillery. I've set up a nice giant arrow. You guys may be using the giant arrow, you may not be, but I did actually forget that the giant arrow can't even take down the air defenses anyway, so bit of a wasted arrow obviously in hard mode. But if you are attacking in normal mode, which I assume 99% of you guys will be watching this video for, then you will have no problem setting a nice path with the arrow and taking out some of the trash buildings. Anyways, as you can see, I always use the poison spell onto the furnace. I'm not sure how common furnaces are at Town Hall 16, however they are definitely the best option for the defensive CC. So if you do come across the furnace in the CC, always poison it and not the ice golems. If it's a triple ice golem CC, you can of course poison the ice golems. But as you can see, as the second poison tower has triggered onto my root riders, that is when I'm popping the warden ability to try and counteract the poison damage. And that is because, of course, the splash damage is the biggest threat to this attack. I pop my king ability in just a moment. There we go. And as you can see, this one looks crushed. Okay, but again, the Town Hall is so powerful against this attack. And you will see when this overgrowth wears off how much damage it does. It shocked me. Obviously, I am attacking on hard mode. It's kind of balanced. I feel like it's a little bit harder than Town Hall 17 normal mode. I could be wrong. Honestly, I've got no idea. But look, there we go. The poison triggers. And as you can see, it does so much damage. So that is what I'm trying to get at here. Avoid the poison of the Town Hall as much as possible. It's so strong. But that is all I have for you Town Hall 16 players for today. Let me know if you want to see more videos on Town Hall 16 strategies in the future. We're going to move on over to the Town Hall 15 section of the video right now. So here is the army adapted for Town Hall 15. As you can see, we've basically just jumbled up a couple of the pets. You do have pretty much every single other thing in this army unlocked, which is great for you. So let's start again talking about the substitute equipment for the heroes. Starting with the king, you can use the earthquake boots as opposed to the snake bracelet. It is just as strong, but it's definitely not as good as the snake bracelet because of course the king is more of a supporting hero in this army, as opposed to being the giant tank in the core of the base where the earthquake boots get the most value. Moving on then to the archer queen, we have the 2 best hero equipments in the game right now, the giant and the magic mirror. These equipments are very much interchangeable and you can definitely use a large range of equipment. So let's get right into it. Let's say you have the giant, you don't have the magic mirror, you can use the giant and the giant arrow. Let's say you don't have the giant and you have the magic mirror, or you can use the healer puppet with the magic mirror. And let's say you don't have either of the epics, you can use the giant arrow with the healer puppet, and this combo will work just fine. Next hero then is of course the warden. You do need the rage gem and you do need the healing tome for this army. These are ideally max level and they are definitely the most important equipment in this army. And of course the final hero is the royal champion, where we are using the e-boots. You are going to need the e-boots for the spirit walk at the start of the base. However, if you do not have the rocket spear, you can use the haste vial and you can also use the hog puppet. Both of those options work, they are just not as strong as the rocket spear. So this is the army. You can find the link for this army in the description of the video. But let's get right into some FCs of me attacking some Town Hall 15 bases. So here is the first base that I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to explain the approach. As you can see, I'm trying to enter into the opposite side of the Town Hall. I have nerfed myself. I'm using all of these substitute equipments. And of course, this is on hard mode to make it slightly harder. But of course, it is going to be slightly easier as I am a Town Hall 17. Unfortunately, no compromise there. Also, thank you to Quilt for helping me out with this video. Anyways, as you can see, I'm entering into one section. I'm doing the spirit walk, popping the haste vial in my case. You guys may have the hog puppet in which you would use the hogs later, as well as if you use the rocket spear, you would use it later into the attack. Anyways, What I got at with the Town Hall 17 style of base is that the Town Hall is by far the biggest threat. You want to use your overgrowth spells and you want to kind of tackle it last, making sure that it doesn't have as much of an effect as it would have if you tackled it at the start of the attack. I hope that makes sense. Anyways, first overgrowth is in the core here. I'm trying to control my path of the root riders. I'm trying to keep them nice and compact so that the healers are raged up and they can do splash damage onto my root riders, making sure that they're getting really healed up. And that is the strength of the rage gem. If you can master keeping your root riders nice and compact, you will have no problems at all. Also, do know that if you are using the haste file, you have no plan B for your royal champion, so you do need to be very careful. As you can see, I was ready with the free spell in case the mono did lock on to my RC in this case. She didn't. Also, if you didn't notice, I did accidentally swag my overgrowth at the start of the attack there. I think I meant to place down a headhunter, but instead I placed down the overgrowth spell. But in this case, I would have overgrowth the town hall here and simply ended on the town hall. Anyways, as you can see, this one is crushed. We do still have the vulnerability. I tried to nerf myself as much as possible, but it is obviously quite hard because there is only so much I can really do. As you can see though, we have the free spell, and hopefully this does demonstrate the approach when attacking these Town Hall 15 bases. Effectively avoid the Town Hall poison as much as you possibly can, because that is the biggest threat by far to this attack strategy. The second thing is to make sure that your healers and your root riders are staying nice and compact, and you also do need to make sure you are keeping the healers nice and healthy, because they are the heart, I suppose, of this attack, and if you lose the heart, then you are not in a good place. So as you can see, 3-star, not much else to say apart from let's get into the next attack and demonstrate how to attack these Town Hall 15 bases even further. So the second base then is a double poison base. Do note that this is definitely the easier style of base, and as you can see, I'm doing the same approach. It seems to be a pretty common theme that most of the Town Hall is opposite to the Eagle. I hope that makes sense. So I'm basically entering into one section of the base to set up the path with my root riders into the Eagle artillery so that I can end on the Town Hall, because again, the Town Hall is the biggest threat to this army by far. Anyways, I decided to recall here. I lured out some of the CC. Can't quite remember if I was able to take them down. I'll go with the giant arrow there to try and get some of that value, but of course in hard mode, the giant arrow at level 15 is not very good whatsoever. I'm going with the troop launcher, the king, the witches and everything else. And I'd like to illustrate again that of course the royal champion, you don't really have a plan B. Even if you are using the rocket spear or the hog puppet, if she does get targeted, you do not have an eternal tome to support her. So of course you need to be very careful if she does get locked onto by a building such as the monolith, which could kill her even through her ability. Anyways, as you can see, I'm moving quite nicely, and the first overgrowth was on the core. Why am I doing that? Again, I'm trying to keep my root riders in a straight path through the base so that my healers can heal as much as possible. My second overgrowth is always the same, onto the Town Hall, and as you can see, although it is of course Town Hall 17 versus Town Hall 15, I have nerfed myself, and this attack is looking quite clean. With the king ability, 3 spells, the wall breaker, which we didn't need. You may find that if you're planning for Clan War League and the base is, it has these open walls, as you can see on this base, then you may not need to use the wall breaker and instead can grab an extra Valk or something like that. But as you can see, we went with the Skelly spell, we went with the free spell, and this is definitely a 3-star. So that is the last attack that I have to show you guys for today. Again, you can find the army link in the description of the video. And if you are attacking Town Hall 17 bases in Clan War League or something like that, then you can just check out my channel. All of my previous videos are time-stamped, so you can check out how to attack the certain style of base. But that is all from me for today. Let's get into the recap for today's video. So there we go, that was the best army in the game for Town Hall 15 and Town Hall 16 players. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I hope it did provide some value for you guys. If it did, make sure to leave a subscribe, comment, like, whatever, all the rest of it. I'm going to be trialing some different styles of videos in the coming days before I return to my usual Legends videos. We're going to be having some fun at the start of the Legends season, and we're going to be grinding nearer to the end. So yeah, hope to see you guys for those videos in the future. I'll be back again tomorrow with a different style of video. See you then. Goodbye.